Today begins our series on the Golden State Killer. We'll start the story telling the early days of his criminal activity when he committed well over 100 home break-ins in less than 2 years, earning him the nickname the Visalia Ransacker. But after that, the crimes escalated. The Golden State Killer began stalking and plotting his break-ins around young, vulnerable girls. During these break-ins, he was now tying the victims up and raping them multiple times. He then garnered the nickname the East Area Rapist, and unfortunately, the police had no leads or credible information as to who this man was. I'm Mike.
I'm Ian.
And I'm Dave. If you thought tonight's show was about LeBron James in Game 7 of the 2016 NBA Finals when Cleveland won the championship, stick around. Sadly, that is not this story. This is Necronomipod.
From June until December of 1976, one man raped 10 women in Rancho Cordova, Citrus Heights, and Carmichael. Press conferences about rapes became all too regular.
If he was contacted on the street, he would be complacent, cooperative. However, if he was put in a threatening situation, he could be very dangerous.
Investigators displayed maps of targeted areas. All the while, the East Area Rapist grew more and more terrifying. All this in an era when the Sacramento Police Dispatch had an actual switchboard.
A recent rape victim had precious seconds to telephone for help. She dialed operator. Unfortunately, the operator did not come in on the line.
So before we get started with today's episode, just want to throw out a quick little warning that we're going to be getting into some pretty heavy stuff when it comes to some rapes that this guy committed when breaking into some homes. So obviously listener discretion is advised, but we're not going to get into all the full details necessarily, but it does get into some pretty heavy stuff that some listeners might not be into or might find offensive. So just wanted to give you guys a heads up off the bat. You might want to skip those parts if that's not something you're interested in hearing. On top of that, we have a pretty popular subject here. We're starting something that's a little bit more in the news recently.
Very current, huh?
Yeah, this is probably the most current thing we've done so far, I would say.
Yeah, we usually don't touch things until they've kind of been out of the news for a while and all the details, and all the dust kind of settles and the details come to light. But I guess this one's just kind of over and finished with now, right? So jumping on and hopefully giving people here a pretty good comprehensive look at the Golden State Killer. 45
years in the making, right? Just took a long time to play out.
Yeah. And there hasn't been, Ian, I think from what your research, there hasn't been a whole lot of podcasts or shit done on this guy, has there?
Not that I saw, since he's been sentenced and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, there's some out there that some out there that have covered it, but nothing that I saw since he got sentenced and all that.
Well, hopefully we get some new people checking this out, wanting to find some information about him. So we'll try not to suck here today.
Thanks, Mike. Appreciate the effort.
That's my pep talk to you guys. Let's go out there and try not to suck. So, all right. Well, we got a lot of information to get through today. So why don't we just jump on in?
This story starts in 1974 with a spree of home break-ins that lasted 20 months by a man who would first be dubbed the Visalia Ransacker. In this 20-month period, the Ransacker would be responsible for 120 break-ins, 1 murder, and 1 attempted murder. The first recorded ransacking was on Tuesday, March 19th, 1974, when $50 of coins was stolen from a piggy bank. Most of the ransacker's activities involved breaking into houses, going through or vandalizing the owner's possessions, scattering women's underwear, and stealing a range of low-value items, while often ignoring banknotes and higher-valued items that were in plain sight.
Interesting. You don't hear the word ransack too much anymore. People don't use that word anymore.
Yeah.
No, it's kind of fallen by the wayside.
Look here, see, I'm going to come over and ransack your whole place if you don't shut your mouth.
What episode was it where we talked about stealing or something with women's underwear, and we asked if women would even know if a pair of their underwear was stolen from their house?
Jerry Brudos.
That?
Yeah, Jerry Brudos.
Was it Brudos? We got a few people that responded back pretty much saying no, we would not notice, which I think is pretty right. Yeah, who keeps inventory on their underwear that well?
We tuck that knowledge away for future, use when it might come in handy.
Of course.
Yeah, and this is real similar to Brudos in that respect, is that this is like just a straight up thrill thing because he's not stealing things of value, you know.
The thrill is in the act itself, not in the thing he might get out of it.
Right, it's just the thrill of breaking in and, you know, fucking with people's stuff. The ransacker would also often arrange or display items in the house. Items emptied included piggy banks and coin jars, and stolen items often included blue chip stamps, foreign or historic coins, and personal items such as earrings, cufflinks, rings, or medallions, but also included 6 weapons and various types of ammunition. Multiple same-day ransackings were common as well, including 12 separate incidents on Saturday, November 30th, 1974.
Damn.
It was a busy day for this guy. It was a day after Black Friday for everyone else. He's having his own Black Friday in people's homes while they're out shopping.
Right. I don't know what signature your guys' signature calling is, but when I break into homes, I'll go through their pantry, eat a whole bunch of their Chef Boyardee, like beefaroni and SpaghettiOs, and then I stack the cans in a pyramid and leave it on the table. And, you know, I'm like the Chef Boyardee thief is what they call me.
It's interesting. I found my house like that one night. I was wondering what the fuck was going on.
Yep, that was me.
Yeah, I figured.
I ransacked your pantry.
Common MOs of the burglaries included scaling fences and moving through established routes such as parks, walkways, ditches, and trails, attempting to pry open multiple points of entry, particularly windows, leaving multiple points of escape open, especially windows as well as house, garage, and garden doors, moving removed window screens onto beds or into bedrooms, placing warning items such as dishes or bottles against doors and on door handles, wearing gloves to not leave fingerprints behind.
Smart moves by this guy. I think a lot based on his profession that we'll learn later in the story. Right. Allows him to think like this, yeah.
Yeah. After a spree of 18 months, the ransacker's crimes took a darker turn on September 11th, 1975. On this date, a man who is strongly believed to be the ransacker broke into the home of Claude Snelling, age 45, a journalism professor at the College of the Sequoia, and who had previously chased a prowler discovered under his daughter's window around 10 p.m. on February 5th, 1975, was awakened around 2 a.m. by strange noises in his home. Upon leaving his bedroom, Snelling shouted and ran through the open back door and confronted a ski-masked intruder in his carport attempting to kidnap his daughter, who had been subdued with threats of being stabbed or shot. Snelling was then shot twice, staggered back into the house to his wife, and later died.
God damn.
After the shooting, the assailant fled the scene, leaving behind a stolen bicycle at 615 Redwood Street. After the murder, Bess Snelling, age 16, who was a cheerleader at Mount Whitney High School, underwent hypnosis in order to gather further details. The Visalia Police Department also committed more resources to apprehending the ransacker, and a $4,000 reward was posted. Nighttime stakeouts were set up near houses that he had previously prowled, but the ransackings continued.
If only hypnosis worked, this all could have been solved right then and there, and then we wouldn't have, had all these murders and rapes to talk about.
Do you even science, Mike?
I don't believe in science.
So here's my question about this. So I looked it up. The population of Visalia was 50,000 people in 1975, so it's not a very big town. Why continue to operate in the same location, when they're clearly onto you at least a little bit and staking you out? It's It's risky.
Yeah.
Maybe that's just part of the thrill.
Yeah, I think, and especially when we get into part 2 and we see how clustered a lot of this stuff is, I think a lot of it is the thrill, and then we'll get into in part 2 as well, when the media starts reporting things that he doesn't do, then he turns around and does them. So I think it is a lot of thrill and a lot of you can't catch me type of stuff.
Yeah, I believe it.
Around 8:30 p.m. on December 12, 1975, a masked man entered the backyard of a house near where the ransacker had been reported to operate. When Detective William McGowan, on stakeout inside the garage, attempted to detain the man, the suspect shrieked, removed his mask, and surrendered after McGowan fired a warning shot.
Okay, so we got him. The story's almost over. It's going to be a short one tonight.
Yeah, right.
However, after jumping the fence, he also pulled out a revolver with his left hand and fired once near McGowan's face, shattering his flashlight. Nearby officers rushed to aid McGowan, and the shooter was able to escape. Items collected as evidence included the flashlight, tennis shoe tracks, and dropped stolen items consisting of blue chip stamps and a blue sock full of coins.
So did this officer get a look at him then when he took the mask off before he ran away? So did he see something at least?
He did get a look at him, and that's where one of the first sketches comes from. But when he shot that flashlight, all the glass like shot up into the officer's eyes.
Yeah, no, that would hinder.
So close. Goddamn. I wonder how many stories like this would we be talking about if not for, a lucky break early on.
Yeah, right.
And that's like the luckiest break ever for this guy. I mean, he was caught.
Yeah, he was done. Amazing.
The Visalia Police Department, alongside the Tulare County Sheriff's Office and California Highway Patrol, investigated and slowly pieced together all of the reported incidents. Some incidents were not immediately reported, given their trivial nature, like stealing coins from piggy banks, or because nothing of value seemed to have been taken. However, given the voyeurism, the personal nature of the thefts, the focus on girls' photos or women's clothing, the deliberate ransacking behavior, or the theft of a pair of items, a darker motive seemed to be at play. And then people would find like pictures of their daughters moved around and things like that.
That's creepy.
So they anticipated it was going to escalate then based on that.
Yeah, right around when they got the sketch. I mean, even leading up to the sketch, the theme that sounded like was like when that stretch of 12 break-ins in one day happened, they're like, okay, this guy's escalating and he's going to get really dangerous.
How is that even possible? Man, like boom, boom, boom. And I watched a couple of documentaries on this, and they had some of the victims, the pictures that they took back then. I mean, when we say ransacking, you mean fucking ransacking, because there was shit everywhere over the entire house. It was crazy.
Yeah, you like purposely would just fuck with people's stuff and just throw it everywhere.
It really was like his calling card. Like that's just what he wanted to do. He just wanted to leave a mess.
Like you in college, but a different mess.
Oh, I haven't left messes, Pally.
8 seconds worth.
If I was lucky. That's if I had enough alcohol in me to numb me for a few seconds.
Furthermore, given the number of Mount Whitney high school students targeted in the incidents, the location of the crimes around the College of the Sequoias, and eyewitness reports, investigators suspected a student may have been involved, and 21 of the 37 main suspects listed by police by late 1975 were teens. Despite physical analysis and the unusual presence or use of hand lotions, no sign of semen was detected at crime scenes.
Well, Visalia is not by a naval yard, is it? Sorry, I love those delayed ones where it takes 2 seconds for you to do. All right, well, maybe the guy was just dry,
He just needed
Need to lotion up,
I
don't know.
Yeah. I mean, what a random but odd thing to do. Like he would just come use your lotion, not for anything sexual, just to kind of moisturize the skin and then go about his business.
That's fucking weird. These weird dudes, man, it's really scary.
Yeah, this guy might be the scariest person we've ever covered.
I think you're right. Just the randomness of this kind of fucking stuff.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah, and it gets scarier as it goes along. Size 9 Converse tennis shoe prints and pry marks from various crimes also matched each other. Similarly, ballistics matched the .38 revolver stolen on August 31st, 1975, with shots fired by its owner during practice, to the one used to kill Snelling. Following the second shooting, the ransacker was not to believe to commit another major crime in Visalia, and the investigation remains the most expensive in Visalia's history.
Do we need geography lessons here at all? Visalia's a little bit south of Fresno in California. I like to start out with that sometimes.
Yeah, give me that, because I don't know the geography of California.
It's like Northern California.
Okay. And then what is Sacramento more south?
Sacramento is northwest of Visalia, I believe.
In the Sacramento area, the crimes progressed from burglary to rape in mid-1976. The crimes initially centered on then unincorporated areas of Carmichael, Citrus Heights, and Rancho Cordova, east of Sacramento. The initial MO was to stalk middle-class neighborhoods at night in search of women who were alone in one-story homes, usually near a school, creek, trail, or other open space that would provide a quick escape.
Again, smart logistically.
And before we start going through these rapes, some of their names are out there. A lot of them aren't. A lot of them are still anonymous. But even though some of their names are out there, we're just going to say victim number 1, victim number 2, stuff like that. I don't feel comfortable saying these women's names.
I agree with you. Good.
On about 4 a.m., June 18th, 1976, victim 1 was awakened by a tapping sound. She noticed the silhouette of a man standing in the doorway to her bedroom, and he was tapping with something against her door frame. But before she could clear her eyes, the light switched on, and there stood a man tapping a large knife against the door frame. He was wearing a mask and gloves, dark t-shirt, but was naked from the waist down. He was also visibly aroused. She pulled the sheets over her face, and he ran towards her, jumped on her, ripped the sheets off her face, and placed the tip of the knife at her temple and drew blood.
God damn.
Speaking through clenched teeth in like an angry whisper, and that is something that happens in every case. That's a MO. That's just something he does every time he talks.
The angry whisper?
Yeah, like just through clenched teeth. He doesn't open his mouth. Said, quote, "If you make a move or sound, I'll stick this knife in you. I want to fuck you." He got off her and stood by the bed, commanding her to take off her nightgown. He then told her to roll over and tied her wrist tight with a pre-cut rope, then went through the room and came back and tied her wrist again with one of her own cloth belts. He told her to roll over again and then raped her. She opened her eyes only when he was finished. She saw him wipe himself off with a bedsheet, drop it to the floor, and then standing there, he asked her about money, but before she could answer, he told her to shut up. He searched around the room again, found her hairdryer, and tied her ankles with the cord. He doubled it by tying her bra around her ankles as well. Once again, he wandered through the room until he found her nightgown and then tied it around her mouth as a gag. She continued to hear him go through the room, and when he returned, he said, quote, "Don't move while I am here or I will kill you." He left the bedroom and started going through the drawers in the kitchen. She heard him talking in a low whisper and thought two people were actually whispering back and forth. This seemed to confirm it for her when he spoke in a louder whisper, saying, quote, "I told you to shut up."
What do we think that's all about?
That's what I was going to ask.
This is going to be something that in part 2 we're going to see in the string of 39 rapes that's going to happen in part 2. He talks to himself a lot.
Interesting. And this whole episode just like a teaser for part 2. I feel like Ian already 37 times has been like, well, in part 2 we're going to talk about. So tune in next week. Do we know, and we may not because like you said earlier, Ian, like we don't, the victims haven't necessarily been identified. Do we know how old this victim was?
Dude, I did not see that.
Okay. But probably just fit the criteria of like a young female.
It's someone between probably 12 to 30 years old.
Okay.
After it was quiet and there were no sounds for quite some time, the victim struggled and loosened the bindings and dryer cord on her ankle so that she could get up and walk down the hallway. She discovered the back door was open and she tried to shut it with her feet, but the deadbolt was set to lock and this prevented the door from closing. She went for the phone on the kitchen wall, knocked it off the receiver from the cradle, but she could not reach the dial. She then rushed down the hall to her father's bedroom, knocked the receiver off the cradle, dialed from numb fingers behind her back, and then from the floor spoke into the receiver.
Man, it's hard enough to dial on a rotary phone, let alone, tied up.
Yeah.
You guys don't know anything about that.
I wouldn't know.
So. Yeah.
Numb fingers too. Like goddamn.
My grandma had one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I bet.
Yeah,
I bet.
My grandma had one.
Good.
I remember
That's
it.
a perfect punchline, Ian. Perfect punchline. My grandma had one. Moving on. Weren't those also the phones that rang really loud and aggressively?
They were pretty loud. I think it had.
Or is that just like maybe the ones
volume.
I've seen?
Yeah, a couple volumes.
Yeah, like I just remember them being really, really loud.
Yeah, you could set it like loud or super fucking loud.
I believe that's actually what it said on the phone.
Yeah.
Super fucking loud.
Absolutely. And you'd have party lines where people shared the same line.
What do you mean?
Like you share a line if you pick it up and because you split the cost of it. So someone down the street, one of your neighbors was sharing the same line. So you could pick it up and listen to their conversations.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
If you wouldn't need to make a call, pick it up and they're on it. You got to hang up and wait.
Wow. So if someone called that number, both phones would ring?
No, you didn't have the same phone number, so that would only ring through to your house, but the outgoing was
Gotcha.
shared. Yeah.
You had to wait for them to get off the phone.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
The description of the man was that he weighed about 160 pounds. He might have had dark hair, as the hair on his legs was dark. His legs were muscular, but lean muscular, and his penis was unusually small. The gloves were dark, and he never took them off in her presence. She estimated he was about 20 to 25 years old. He spoke through clenched teeth, barely moving his lips under the mask. She estimated he remained in the house for only 20 minutes. Investigators discovered the house had been ransacked, papers and other items strewn from the drawers. The victim's purse was on the back patio, and its contents were scattered on the lawn. A block of wood and a bird bath had been moved and placed under the phone line that leads from the house to one of the telephone poles at the back fence. The man had stepped on it and attempted to cut the phone line. Cut marks were evident on the wire, but he was unsuccessful. There were also fresh cracks in the bird bath, which indicated it started to break underneath him, so he stopped.
How hard is it to cut a phone line?
Unless he was just falling, maybe he couldn't get his balance
I guess.
and couldn't get cut. I don't know.
From here, he went to the back door where he worked the wood of the door jamb to pry the door open. Fresh wood chips were on the patio underneath the knob area of the door. Inside the hall bathroom, 2 towels were found to be balled up, and there was a Johnson baby oil bottle on the counter. The man had been in the house long enough to find them or brought the bottle and lubricate himself before approaching the bedroom to wake up the victim.
Ugh.
The man, yeah, it's fucking gross. The man brought 2 pieces of pre-cut rope with him for the bindings, and despite the ransacking of the house, nothing of value was taken.
An awful lot of planning went into this.
Yeah?
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
It's really thought out and detailed.
Victim number 2, age 15, was home alone with her sister, who's age 16. They were watching television until about 10 p.m. and then went to bed. Before going to bed, victim number 2 checked all locks and doors. About 2 a.m., she was woken up by a hand over her mouth. Through clenched teeth, a voice angrily whispered, quote, "Shut up, I have a knife, and if you don't shut up, I can kill you." She was only half awake and rolled off the bed onto the floor, bumping the man's leg in the process. She ran out of the room yelling for her sister. The man caught her and hit her on the back of the head 3 or 4 times. Though she fell on the floor, she was still yelling for her sister, and he hit her a couple more times, and at this point, she decided to fake that she was unconscious. He told her to shut up, that he had already tied up her sister. She didn't respond to him and continued to fake that she was unconscious, but the man didn't believe her and got really angry, saying, quote, "Get your hands behind your back."
Just the fact that it's a 15-year-old makes it 10 times worse.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, a lot of these first ones we're going to go through are younger,
I mean, they're all pretty disgusting, but then you remember the fact that these are still fucking kids.
And just because I'm sure it ruins their sex life and, going forward for the rest of their life. It's just awful.
Yeah, I was going to say that earlier, and then, it said that the girl estimated he was only in the home for about 20 minutes. So in 20 minutes, he single-handedly ruined this girl's life forever, and the kind of the physical, emotional, and mental stress she's going to have to live with the rest of her life. It's terrible.
I think that's the biggest thing that sticks out to me throughout this whole story, reading through all these things, is the amount of damage this guy caused to people, just the lives he ruined, and not just his victims, but just so many people around, families. I mean, this guy is responsible for ruining hundreds of lives.
Sure.
So is he in contention for the Mount Rushmore of biggest pieces of shit we've ever covered?
He's got to be
He's gotta be
number 1, I think.
All right.
In all honesty,
I don't know much about him, so I'm learning as we go through this. Surprise, surprise.
he tied the victim's hands behind her back very tightly. He leaned in close to her ear and through the clenched teeth said, quote, "You do everything I want, and I will fill my bag and leave." The man then shoved the sock into her mouth and tied a towel around her head to hold the gag. He tied her feet tightly, then he grabbed her and dragged her to her bedroom. He threw her on the bed, stomach down, and said, quote, "If you move or make the bed twinge, I'll kill you."
If somebody put something in my mouth like that and taped my mouth shut, I think I would gag and suffocate and vomit down my throat.
Yeah, I agree.
That's
I'd be the same
horrific.
way.
I have a terror. I can barely brush my teeth with my gag reflex, let alone have this something shoved in it.
Boy, you would not do well in prison, Dave.
Oh, man.
The man then left the bedroom and went to the kitchen, living room, and other bedrooms. She could hear him going through everything. He would slam drawers closed, came back and checked on her, and then left and continued going through things. He came back again and then tied a towel around her head so she could not see. Victim number 2 estimates that 15 minutes after he came back and turned the light on, he untied her feet, pulled down her underwear, and then raped her for about 2 minutes. After he was done, he tied her ankles again. He asked her where the money was kept, and she nodded toward her dresser where she had $6 saved. He pulled out the drawers, dumped the contents on the floor, and then threw down the drawers. He then left the room, went to her sister's, and looked in more drawers. He returned and stood over the victim and saying, quote, "I knew when I saw you at junior prom, I had to fuck you."
What a weird thing to say.
This is a thing because she didn't believe him. She had a junior prom picture on her dresser with her boyfriend's name on the back of the picture, and she assumed that he had seen that. And that is going to be a running theme through all of these, that it doesn't seem like it's about the rape specifically. It's about just putting as much fear into these victims as possible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm starting to sense that.
Yeah, like emotionally and mentally just destroying them
Yeah.
as much as you are just physically.
He then raped her again. He left the room and then started going through the house again. This time he spent a lot of time going through things. And when he finally came back, he raped her for a third time.
What's the interlude about here? It's not really about looking for money, just inflicting terror with the weight, like you were saying.
Yeah, it's the fear aspect of it.
He's not really looking for anything.
No, because he never
maybe
takes
maybe
anything.
just
Yeah.
maybe the thrill of it, right? Like that's what he probably, gets into.
Yeah. Making her suffer.
Yeah, I mean, like he takes things from these places, but it's real trivial shit like driver's licenses and things like that. It's not anything of value. He then left the room and it was silent for about 3 minutes. There had been no sounds in the house. She got the towel off of her head and noticed that it was now 4:30 a.m. So, I mean, he was in there for 2 hours doing this. She was then able to make it to her sister's room. At this moment, her sister had loosened her hands enough to get free. She cut the bindings off of victim number 2 and then called the police from the master bedroom. The investigation revealed footprints were outside the victim's sister's window, which indicated he had watched her for however long. This meant he had to pass the victim's bedroom in the hallway in order to get to her sister and bind her first. Thus, it seemed to, intended to do exactly what he did, bind the sister first and then rape the victim. Oddly, there were no footprints by the victim's window at all. He had not bothered to stop and even check if she was in bed or sleeping. It seemed that he already knew where they slept, indicating he must have been very familiar with the household already.
He's running a stakeout.
For sure. He probably cased this place multiple nights leading up to this.
Ugh, can you imagine this creeps outside your window for days just watching you?
It's so weird.
Ugh.
Well, and some of this stuff I think we're going to talk about in a little bit, like looking up and seeing like this outline of a man in your window looking at you.
Yeah,
That's
dude.
fucking terrifying.
Oh my God, yeah.
I think we talked about this before. That's one of the reasons why I close every blind in my house at night, because I don't want to look out my window and see someone fucking standing there. It's creepy.
You'd never sleep again.
No.
I'm going to come over after the show and scratch on your window.
I think you said the same thing last time. You were going to like tap on my window.
I did it. You didn't hear me. You were passed out drunk. I'm like, this fucking drunk asshole.
yeah.
I came
This
over to
guy.
scare the shit out of him.
Yeah. Got his hands on his pants. He's passed
Yeah, right.
out on the carpet with tissue all around him and Britney Spears videos playing on the TV.
A spoon of couple SpaghettiOs on your chin just laying there.
Just like the sauce stained around my mouth from the SpaghettiOs. That's how Mike parties.
The girl's parents had been away on a church outing for 3 days. The absence of footprints outside the master bedroom indicated that he knew that these girls were alone. 4 pieces of string of equal length had been used to tie the victims. It did not match any in the home, also proving he had come fully prepared to bind 2 people. 2 empty beer cans were found in the kitchen. Both girls insisted they did not come from the house. Since neither reported smelling beer on his breath, he may have just relaxed and drank them after he was finished and before he left. There were no other footprints found, so there was no accomplice.
And this guy brings his own
I
beer to toast himself afterwards. Creepy.
Yeah, right. That's what I was thinking about. Imagine being in, I mean, you can't imagine being in this situation because none of us would be this sadistic and fucked up, but you're able to just go relax and sip and casually have a couple beers, while you're breaking into a home and committing these heinous crimes. That's crazy.
Probably no elevated blood pressure, just nothing.
Right.
Yikes.
The footprint impressions indicated that the man was wearing a type of hiking boot, and scuff marks on the inside of the back fence indicated that he left over the fence. So, I mean, just 2 rapes in, you're already getting similar MOs as the Visalia Ransacker burglaries. On August 29th, 1976, the 12-year-old daughter of a homeowner was awakened by a breeze stirring the wind chimes outside her window. The window was near the head of her bed, and when looking up towards the chimes, she saw the head and shoulders of a ski-masked figure at her open window.
Oh my God. What an absolute nightmare.
Yeah, see, this is what I mean. That's fucking terrifying.
This man started to attempt to pry off the screen. Upon noticing her, the man stared straight into her eyes, but he didn't immediately move. Instead, according to the witness, he just slowly lowered out of sight.
Oh my God. This is horror movie stuff here, man.
Oh, this is real creepy.
She ran to the master bedroom where her mother was sleeping. Her father had left for work at 10:30 p.m. and was not home. She woke up her mother and told her a man with a ski mask was at her window trying to get in. Her mother ran to the bedroom and looked out into the backyard but couldn't see anyone. And at first, her mother wondered whether or not she had a bad dream or something. The 12-year-old girl insisted it was a man with a mask and he was trying to pry off the screen. Her mother went into the living room and looked out the back sliding glass door and again could see no one. Her mother decided to wake up her older daughter, who was age 15, in her own bedroom. Her older daughter was initially uninterested and just suggested that they call the police, and she went back to sleep.
she was having none of this.
Yeah.
Call the fucking police. Why are you waking me up?
Instead of calling the police, the mother and 12-year-old went back into the girl's bedroom. Upon entering, both saw the masked man at the window. After seeing them, the masked man turned and disappeared toward the back fence. The girl and her mother ran to call the police, but in their panic, they forgot to close the window. While waiting for the police to pick up, both of them heard the chimes and drapery rod crash. Within moments, the masked man stood behind them. He commanded them through the clenched teeth, quote, "Freeze or I'll kill you. Hang up the phone now."
The balls on this guy to come back in when they're on the phone with police.
Oof. I know. This would not happen in today's technology because, back then, there's no caller ID or anything, I mean, as soon as you call 911, they got your number and everything, you know.
Right.
But, yeah.
And also, this is a right out the front door scenario, not waiting to call the police.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
I see the guy running for the back door. I'm running out the front.
Yeah, right.
To a neighbor's house immediately. Yeah. Yeah, in hindsight, that's probably the best option. The woman immediately hung up the phone, and as the masked man came close to her, she fought back. He began to hit her in the head until she fell to the floor. Although she was laying on the kitchen floor, she was still conscious. He ordered them to get into the living room. When there, ordered them to sit on the couch. Obviously, the mom's begging him to leave them alone, as he pulled out a cut towel from the back of his belt, saying, quote, "I only want your money." He grabbed the woman's arms and pulled them behind her to bind them. The woman didn't believe he was there for money because he was naked from the waist down, so she kept fighting back.
Good for mom.
She broke free and ran for the door. The man ran after her and started hitting her on the head repeatedly. She grabbed the door handle, opened it, and ran outside with her daughter close behind. Screaming for help, they ran across the front lawn to the next door neighbors, and the masked man went across the street. Having heard everything in the house, the 15-year-old had taken the screen off of her window, got out, hopped the fence, saw her mother and sister running across the lawn, and followed them. Their neighbor opened the door, and all three made it inside to safety.
Goddamn.
Another neighbor across the street noticed 4 people running from the house. One, a man, ran across the street and crouched behind the neighbor's bushes. The other 3, all women, ran across to their neighbor's house, one screaming for help. She reported that the male who ran across the street watched the other three enter the house. Then he stood up and just casually walked away.
That's what like Dave said earlier. That's like horror movie shit. Like that's exactly what like Michael Myers.
Yeah,
like,
dude. And plus, he
no
doesn't
sense
freak
of
out.
urgency.
Yeah, he just stays calm. We'll be right back.
We like to drink beer, a lot of it. After a long night of drinking and talking crime and conspiracies, there's nothing that wakes us up and gets us ready to start the day better than Just Brew coffee. With a great selection of roast levels to choose from, you're guaranteed to find one that suits your style. Small batch roasted to highlight the unique features of each coffee bean, Just Brew coffee caters to both casual and hardcore coffee drinkers alike. Since 2010, Just Brew Coffee has worked tirelessly to perfect the roasting process and technique, which has resulted in seriously delicious, always flavorful, and never bitter tasting coffee. If you're already drinking JBC, raise your mug. If you're not, raise your standards. Check out their online store at youjustbrew.com and up your coffee game today. Use code NECRO15 to receive 15% off your order of 2 pounds or more. And remember, they roast, you just brew.
Today's episode of Necronomipod is brought to you by Beardology. There are a lot of imitators out there, but there's only one place I buy my beard oil. Beardology beard oil nourishes your skin and won't leave you with that greasy feel. With over 17 cents available in their extensive product line, I trust my beard to Beardology. You can find Beardology at beardology.co. Use code NECRO15 to receive 15% off your purchase. Beardology. Discover the best way to avoid the shave.
The man struck again on September 4th, 1976, and then again on October 5th, 1976. The attack on victim number 5 actually started with a break-in on September 20th. Victim number 5 called the police on September 20th, 1976, reporting a break-in. While vacuuming, she noticed some mud or dirt on her 3-year-old son's bedroom carpet under his window. This window overlooks their backyard. Her first thought was to check for missing valuables. In doing this, she was surprised to discover that she was missing some inexpensive, like, costume jewelry.
Mike's not real familiar with inexpensive jewelry since his nickname in college was Pearl Necklace.
Very true fact.
Like to give the old girls the old pearl necklace from time to time.
Yeah.
Costume jewelry just didn't work for him.
Saves you a fortune at the jewelry store, too.
Since the expensive jewelry had not been touched, she first thought she might have put the inexpensive stuff somewhere else. However, in going through her drawers, she had the sense that someone had carefully gone through them already. Upon going into the backyard with the responding officer, she accompanied him to her son's bedroom window where the deputy noticed that someone had stepped in mud under the window. He also noticed pry marks on the screen and window lock and the blue sock in the backyard. The victim recognized this sock to belong to her husband.
That is creepy as fuck right there.
Yes.
And just that going in your drawer and noticing something is off and you can't really place what's off. It's eerie.
Yeah, that
it's
would
an
be
eerie
weird.
feeling.
That'd
yeah.
be odd.
The responding officer assumed that a kid had broken into the house and stolen some inconsequential jewelry. Just thought it was expensive, and it really wasn't. And used the sock as a glove to not leave fingerprints. And like I was just saying, like since nothing of value was taken and there had been no vandalizing, this seemed to the woman. This seemed like a reasonable thing.
Are they aware at this point of what's going on in the city or no? I don't think so, right?
I don't think it was public yet, right? Like,
No. From watching the because I've been watching the HBO documentary series.
Do you like that? I don't
along
like
with
it.
this.
I don't think it's put together very well.
It's okay.
I don't
it's
love
not
it.
great.
Yeah,
it's not put together as well as this series is going to be.
clearly.
It was this victim where they realized that they had a serial rapist on their hands.
Okay. So I'm just thinking in that scenario, maybe she'd be a little more hesitant if she knew what else was going on in the area.
I don't even know what scenario means.
It's your loss, pal.
In questioning her about anything unusual, she stated that she was getting hang-up phone calls for about 2 weeks. There was someone on the other end, but they wouldn't speak, and then they would just hang up. She continued to receive hang-up phone calls. However, as the calls continued, she began to get nervous. Her husband was a captain in the Air Force, and the victim herself was in the reserves being stationed at Travis Air Force Base in Fairfield. Her husband was frequently gone all day from early morning until evening. On October 3rd, 1976, she received the last of the hang-up phone calls. She got angry with the caller and told them to stop. Without any strong emotion, in that whisper through clenched teeth voice, the caller said, quote, "I'm going to kill your husband."
Well, that wouldn't make a good crank yankers call, I don't think. It's not really funny, no.
Whether the caller intended to say more, we don't know, because she hung up the phone immediately and checked the windows and doors to make sure that they were locked. Her husband was not available at the base when she called, so she called the police. A deputy did respond, but there was little he could do but calm her down by suggesting that it was kids responsible again. She went next door to her neighbors with her 3-year-old boy and waited with the neighbor for her husband to return. Nothing happened on Monday, October 4th. In the early morning hours of Tuesday, October 5th, her husband got up as usual and prepared to go to Travis Air Force Base. He left home around 6:30 a.m. At this time, victim number 5 was still in bed with her 3-year-old son, who had crawled in just minutes before. She heard her husband close the front door. Only minutes passed and the victim heard a series of clicks and then heard footsteps running down the hall. There in her bedroom doorway was a masked man. The mask only had holes for eyes, and he had a knife raised over his head.
This is just crazy on so many levels. I mean, let alone coming back to a house where you already had the cops out there. And then a couple minutes after the husband leaves, like he could have, I forgot my coffee or something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The risk.
At this point, like if you're her, you've already been receiving these threatening calls and all these calls saying he's going to kill your husband. Wouldn't at this point you be sleeping with like a gun or a knife under your pillow, like knowing that your husband was going to be leaving to go to work? Like, and I'm not even like big on having weapons, but at this point, like you got to do something to protect yourself. I feel like it's terrifying.
Absolutely.
Both she and her child were tied up by the man. He tied her hands behind her back and used the sheets to tie her legs. Bound at both legs and arms, the boy was set on the floor. Again, the man kept saying he only wanted money. And that reminds me of BTK, like this assurance to just keep going along with it because I only want money.
That's true. Yeah. Very similar.
He put the knife to her throat and pushed it in and out slightly, though he did not draw blood. He warned her that if she did not do what he wanted, he would kill both her and her child. She then heard him tearing clothes or sheets in the room, and he left the room and walked around the house. He came back to the bedroom checking on her, and before his final return, she heard him move a chair by the front door. Finally, he returned and said he had the money and was going to leave. She relaxed a bit, but then heard towels being torn near the bed. The man then put his penis in her bound hands and told her, quote, "Play with it." She attempted to do so, but complained that her hands were tied too tightly, to which he said, quote, "Shut up."
I thought you were going to say that his penis was too small for her to play with.
Yeah, seriously. This guy's got a lot of confidence for being a, tiny dangle guy.
Yeah, that's something throughout all of these, like abnormally small. I think it might have something to do with his
hating
his
women.
here.
Yeah, I think so.
He untied her feet and then raped her. After he finished, he told her he was going to the kitchen to make something to eat. She heard the frying pan being used, and after a while, the house was silent, and she got up and made it out the back door and called the neighbor's child for help. So that's even more bold. You're just going to cook yourself some food.
Yeah, seriously. Like there's just no sense of urgency with him. Like he's just making himself at home.
None.
Sheriff's detectives discovered that the house had been ransacked. About $160 had been stolen. The man had entered through the boy's bedroom window again, and he left through the back door. Detectives also noted the presence of white shoelaces with the torn towels, and they did not belong to the household. The 3-year-old boy had not been harmed, and what he thought was the man was a doctor examining his mother.
Jesus Christ, I'm sure he found out later. What does that do to somebody? God damn.
A bloodhound was used in this case. The dog found the trace of the man and followed it to the backyard fence. Sheriffs followed the hound through the field behind the house, through an orchard being bulldozed for a development, and then onto a street behind the development. A canvass of the neighborhood uncovered witnesses who had seen a strange man 4 days before in the early morning. He drove a dark green car like a Chevy Vega. In one encounter at 6:15 a.m. a few days prior to the rape, a homeowner stood on her porch and was surprised to see this man stare back at her from her driveway. After a moment, he got into his Vega and drove off. Furthering that this person with the Vega may have been the rapist is the fact that the bloodhound lost the scent at the area where the Vegas was said to have been parked. The very morning of the attack at 7 a.m., a witness had come out of his house and noticed the Vega parked in the same spot, and it was gone by 8:30 a.m.
I'm sure that was it.
Yep.
Too bad there was no parking ticket, right? Like with Son of Sam.
Yeah. The man continued to attack women and teenagers, and again, in some of these cases, there were children present. Kids did not stop him from going ahead and doing what he planned to do.
Just right in front of him, huh?
Yep. Or he would a few. He took them to a different room, but
Yeah. That's dark. That's really dark.
it takes it to a whole
Yeah.
different level.
Yeah.
Victim number 6 was attacked on October 9th, 1976. Victim number 7 was October 18th, 1976. Victim 8 was also October 18th, 1976. And victim number 9, November 10th, 1976. So he's picking up here.
Picking up steam. Such short time too. Like, damn, 7 and 8 on the same day.
To put some of this in context as to what was going on in the community, no one was really aware of a serial rapist in the area. The police knew, like we were saying earlier, after rape number 5, that they had a serial rapist on their hands because the MO was exactly the same every time. But the mayor didn't want to cause panic in the community as he had confidence that the police would catch this guy. He didn't want to freak everybody out.
Conversely, the guy had confidence that the police would not catch him, as bold as he was.
On November 4th, 1976, in between rape 8 and 9, the media ban was lifted, and the Sacramento Bee published a story that there was a serial rapist in the community, and he quickly became known as the East Area Rapist.
So let me throw this out there with the media ban being lifted. So November 4th, 1976 is 2 days after Election Day. Was the mayor concerned about being reelected and put off letting the word go out until after the election?
Interesting.
Because that kind of shit is usually politically driven, you know. Don't want to cause
Yeah.
panic. Don't want anyone to think that I'm not in control of the city.
That makes sense.
That's my theory of the day.
I would have never even thought of that. That's a good theory.
People can ponder that now all week until part 2.
On December 18th, 1976, the East Area Rapist would commit his final rape for 1976. For 3 weeks prior to the date of the attack, victim number 10, age 15, received hang-up phone calls. At 6:15 on the night of the attack, her parents left for a Christmas party. She had a cold and decided to stay home. She was playing the piano when she heard a sharp crack coming from the yard, and it caught her attention. No further sounds were heard, so she continued to play the piano. Moments later, she heard something, turned, and looked over her left shoulder, and there was a masked man standing there with a knife to her throat. The typical language of the East Area Rapist followed. He told her he would kill her if she moved, and then asked her if she had any money. After she said no, he asked a significant question, quote, "When are your parents coming back?" Before she could reply, he warned her, quote, "You better tell me so I'll know how much time I have."
Ugh.
She didn't know, so he ordered her to get up. He put the knife to her neck, and a typical line followed, quote, "Get moving. If you say anything or flinch, I'll push this knife all the way in, and I will be gone in the dark of the night." He pushed her through the garage and into the backyard. She saw him remove a cord from his pocket. He tied her hands behind her and told her he was going to tie her to a post, saying, quote, "If you try to look at my face, I'll kill you."
Can you imagine how terrifying this is for a 15-year-old girl?
That's wow. I couldn't, and it's just like we said earlier. Like this ruins the rest of your life.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it like I know from, like we said earlier, I didn't feel comfortable saying these women's names, but you can go out and watch documentaries on it. Some of them have come forward and talked about it. And they've been able to move past it, But I mean, yeah, it fucks up a whole chunk of your life and something that you're just never gonna forget or get.
Right. Yeah. I mean, how do you go on like trusting guys after this? After something like this happens, that will ruin you forever.
Yeah, I have my thoughts on this guy, but I'll save them for part 3 at the end.
Man, now a teaser for part 3.
Well, and I'm sure we sound like idiots talking because we have no idea what it's like, but still, I'm sure you're right.
Yeah, that's another good point too. Is
You can't even imagine.
I would have no idea.
Yeah, right. We don't know.
Yeah, I mean, as a guy, you'd have no idea what that would be like.
So what we're trying to say is, like every other episode, we have no fucking clue what we're talking about. We're just kind of spouting off here and hoping for the best.
He then pushed her on the picnic table and tied her ankles. He then tied her feet to one of the patio's overhang posts, shoved a cloth in her mouth, and gagged her. He also blindfolded her by tying towel strips around her head. He then warned her, quote, "I'll be watching you every 10 seconds from the window." She then heard the man going through the house, opening drawers in the cupboards. Then he silently returned. She was not aware he was there until he said through clenched teeth again, quote, "Have you ever fucked a guy?" She said no, and then he stood her up, removed her pants, and cut her bra with his knife. After he took her back to her parents' bedroom, he raped her. He brought her out to the family room, turned on the gas fireplace, and raped her again. He raped her twice in the family room and once in the master bedroom. He put the knife to her throat and demanded that she say that she liked it.
This is the worst one. I don't know why, but this is just awful.
It's specifically...
He's having a lot more interaction with her, which I think, at least that we're discussing, which I think makes it worse. Like, making her say that she liked it, asking her if she's ever fucked a man and making her answer. Like, I don't know, it's just, this one's like seems more personal than the other ones.
Yeah.
Sheriffs discovered the fence between the neighbors had been pushed over. It held a clear shoe print of the man. He had pushed the old fence over with his right foot. The print showed he was wearing tennis shoes. This was only the second time he was known to wear tennis shoes, and the pattern of the sole was a zigzag. Victim number 10's clothes were found in the neighbor's yard, including a white shoelace dangling from their tree. The living room furniture had been moved for some unknown reason.
Fucking weirdo.
Yeah, and I know from watching something with her talking about this whole thing, she thought that because he moved it towards the fireplace, she thought initially that he was just going to like burn down the house or something. After a crackling sound had been heard by the victim, which seems to be the fence falling down under his foot, there was little time before he was in the house and by her side. However, the investigation proved that he had tied the victim up with her sister's shoelace. Thus, the sounds that caused the victim to stop playing were either him in the house preparing things in advance, or more likely he had entered the home before and took the shoelaces before coming back that night.
Man.
So that's a whole different ballgame at that point if he already broke into the house once and then came, took the binds now and then came back with them. Investigators noticed that this victim was the first to have hair above her shoulders. All previous victims had long hair. However, a portrait of the victim on the wall showed her with long hair. She had only recently cut it. This picture, according to the parents, had been moved and they had no explanation for this.
This asshole has a type, huh? Wasn't there something with Berkowitz where he liked a particular type? So the women walking around New York City were wearing wigs or dyeing their hair.
Yeah,
I think I remember that.
Yeah.
They thought it was, they had the theory that it was women with long brunette hair. So they were all cutting their hair, dyeing it, buying wigs.
I thought so.
A Band-Aid was found on the picnic table, and it contained a spot of blood that did not belong to the victim. The blood was tested, revealing it was type A. As in case number 9, the victim's neighbor had also had a daughter in similar age. Both of these residents had been receiving hang-up calls for 3 weeks. The man did not cut the phone line, and victim number 10 had gotten free after the man left and dialed the neighbors, who came over and cut her bonds. Police were no closer to catching the rapist, and the community was starting to panic. 1977 would prove to be a rapid escalation in the rapist's crimes, and that's where we will pick up part 2.
That is a completely
this wasn't fun at all.
disturbing story. No, it was awful.
Yeah, this was not fun one bit.
Nope, and it only gets worse from here.
Wow, can't wait for next week. Jesus. Ooh. Salivating thinking about those notes.
Still have 39 rapes, and I want to say off the top of my head, 10 or 13 murders.
God damn.
He's a prolific son of a bitch, this guy.
And he just keeps gaining more and more nicknames too as we go through this.
Yeah.
Obviously, none as cool as Screen Door Intruder, but still. So, all right, I want to end this one on a little bit of a happier note, something a little bit more fun. That's why I was quiet the last couple of minutes, because I was over here scribbling notes down for what I was going to ask you guys. So I apologize.
Working
But
on the fly, buddy. Applause. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice job.
I'm trying.
That's great.
Well, this has been a heavy episode, and we didn't have a whole lot of fun during this one. Obviously, it's a disgusting story. So I got a few topics here. 1, 2, 3. We got 5 of them. I'm going to give you a list of things, and in each category, you have to keep one. The rest are gone forever. Okay?
Yes.
So number 1, chain restaurants. You have to keep one, and the other 3 are gone forever. Applebee's, Olive Garden, Outback Steakhouse, Red Lobster. What are you keeping, and what 3 are what are you keeping?
Not keeping any of them.
Nope, that's not the game.
This guy.
Also, shame on you. Olive Garden, I don't give a shit what people say. Olive Garden is fucking phenomenal.
That's what I
It
would
is
keep
good.
Olive Garden.
I get so pissed when people are like, "Oh, it's Olive Garden. It's not authentic Italian." Fuck you. It tastes amazing. It tastes good. And I've been to Little Italy in Cleveland. There's delicious, authentic Italian food. But get over yourself if you hate Olive Garden. I'm sorry. It's fucking delicious.
It's not delicious.
It is absolutely delicious.
I do enjoy the
It is-
lunch of unlimited salad, soup, and breadsticks, but the
Their salad-
regular
I agree.
food's just not great.
I agree.
That being said-
I don't think I've... Applebee's, Olive Garden, Outback Steakhouse, Red Lobster. I know you ain't choosing Red Lobster. So Ian and I, are we both Olive Garden guys?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love Olive Garden. I have no shame in admitting that.
I think it's delicious.
I agree.
Well, some things. I have had not good things there, but I've had good things there also. That 5 cheese penne is fucking bomb.
Well,
Dave, come on, you got to pick one here.
I'm gonna pick Olive Garden too because I like going to have their $6.99 lunch.
Okay. Oh, so I didn't know you were answering there. All right. Well, that's a clean sweep for that one.
I'll take it.
All right. Here we go.
This is fun.
Coffee places. You got to keep one. Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts, Tim Hortons, Caribou Coffee. You keep one.
I keep Dunkin', I guess.
I would keep Starbucks because I like that nitro brew coffee.
All right. Well, we're going to go 3 different answers because I'm keeping Tim Hortons. I fucking love Tim Hortons.
Yeah, we don't have those up here though.
There's one, I think they built one down in Ashland. That's the closest one now, but I think they have the best breakfast food of those places. All right, I got 3 more here. Hopefully these are fun ones. Fast food. We might have already just done this one, but anyways. Wendy's, McDonald's, Taco Bell, Arby's.
It's a tough one.
I'm keeping Wendy's.
I could have guessed that one.
I'm keeping Taco Bell.
Yeah, me too. It's tough between Taco Bell and Wendy's, but I'm keeping Taco Bell. All right, staying on the food thing. Keep one. Tacos, pizza, cheeseburgers, wings. Chicken wings. Tacos, pizza, burgers, wings. Keep one.
I'm keeping wings.
Fuck.
He's over there.
This is an impossible
Dave, I'll give you a
choice.
minute. I'll give you a minute. This was tough for me too because I love chicken wings, but in the end, I have to go with pizza. I love pizza too much. But wings, that pains me because I love chicken wings.
What was the third option?
It was tacos, pizza, burgers, and wings.
Burgers. I do love tacos.
Coming from the guy who said Mexican food's overrated.
Oh, I like tacos. It's not Mexican food. Kind of is.
Well, I mean, it is.
I go with pizza. Sorry, tacos.
Pizza. All right. Last one. You have to keep one of them, meaning they're just around. I don't know what it means exactly. Golden State Killer, Richard Ramirez, BTK, Timothy McVeigh.
You have to let one live then?
Live or that, yeah, I guess. One of them lives, the other 3 are put to death. Doesn't mean the one who lives is free, but he's just alive.
I would let Richard Ramirez live, I guess.
Yeah,
out of
I'm
that
with you,
lineup
man.
Of scumbags.
Yeah.
I'll keep,
You know what?
uh,
I was the same way,
Yeah,
Richard
I'll
Ramirez.
keep him.
Yeah. I try to think of the 4 scuzziest people, and that was just off the top of my head what I thought of. Of course, this is what I'm doing while Ian's trying to tell us a story, and I'm supposed to be listening. So, all right. Well, that was all I had. That was my fun for the night.
I enjoyed that interlude. Thank you.
Yeah. Well,
Now I want some
something.
tacos, though, buddy.
even though you picked pizza,
Even though I picked pizza, I want tacos.
well, you can go to Taco Bell, which you saved, so technically you could do that.
I might go.
Yeah. I do like going back to the chain restaurants. Olive Garden has those wonton tacos on the appetizers. Those are actually pretty fucking good. I really like those.
I think I've ever had those.
Pretty tasty. Pretty good. All right. We got anything else? Ian, you got anything else you want to throw in here for part 1 of Golden State Killer?
No, I think I'm good on it.
Good.
Hopefully no one was upset that we didn't name the victims, but I just didn't feel comfortable doing it. It's just something I didn't feel like it added to the story to give out people's names.
Well, and I
regarding
think
rape.
And like we had kind of talked off air in this situation, I think 90% of the victims that we talked about today are we don't know their names or have their names. So it really, I don't know if it made sense to just list one person. But just trying to be respectful to people and not give out their information given the horrific experiences they've had with this piece of shit. Dave, you got anything else?
No, not really looking forward to next week.
No. And then the week after that as well.
Come on, man.
Quite a fun July we got going on
Damn.
here. All right. Well, we got some Patreon shout outs. Again, we are at patreon.com/Necronomipod. We have a $1 tier, a $5 tier, and a $10 tier. There are different perks for those different levels. Check it out, patreon.com/Necronomipod. We have some new patrons to give shout outs to. So thank you very much to Olivia, the Naively Optimistic Podcast, Brad Stanton, Jason Browning, Chrissy, Offivos, Andrew Thompson, Aaron Badkey, Kyle Gillespie, Ashley Bernhardt, Louise Sabellos, probably. Sorry if I butchered that. Laura Patterson, Dana Buhner, Michelle Nelson, PH Death, Ginger Beck, Daisy B, James, Mike Ossenbergs, Jordan Lane, Jennifer Brown, and Scott Cucks.
Scott Cucks,
Thank
you
you guys.
fucked that guy's wife last week, didn't you?
Yeah, but that's why he's got that name. In all fairness, it is spelled differently, but we
all right.
allowed that. Yeah, coming soon to Cucks Across America.
Yeah. Because you were banging his
Spin
wife,
off.
making him watch, and then you made him sign up for Patreon as you were doing his wife, right?
Oh God, this is all from bonus content that people aren't going to get. But this is jokes that you will understand if you're on Patreon.com/Necronomipod, and you're at the $5 level and can listen to our bonus content. All kinds of spin-off shows possibly coming your way. You never know. So anyways, but thank you very much to Scott and to everyone else who signed up to become patrons. We really appreciate it. Patreon.com/Necronomipod.
Yeah, just joking, Scott.
Ian-
Sorry about that.
Now this guy's going to come fucking kill me because he thinks I'm banging his wife. Ian and Dave will love it because Dave wants to see someone get their ass kicked. So he's just going
I
to
never
laugh the
said
whole
that.
time.
Come on. Keep your penis on the guy's
you tweet-
wives.
You tweet Angie Overkill every day asking her to come beat my ass. Ian, what do you got for us?
For iTunes, I have one for Von Vredes Bird and Mooney719. Thank you guys for the awesome reviews.
All right. We are on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, YouTube at Necronomipod. Feel free to give us a follow. Let us know. We appreciate your guys' feedback, your thoughts, if you have any recommendations for show ideas. We're always keeping a master list. I think we've probably mentioned this before, 5 years worth of material currently on our master list. So, we'll get to things eventually. We're just kind of plowing through here. So anyways, we are on the socials at Necronomipod. Also, merchandise available on Amazon. Just go to Amazon and search Necronomipod, and I believe all of our stuff is back up there, right, Dave?
It is, yeah.
Yeah. So check it out, Amazon.com, search Necronomipod. There's T-shirts, men's t-shirts, women's t-shirts, long sleeve shirts, hoodies, all kinds of good stuff there.
We got the stickers
So,
on the
and-
website too.
Stickers on our website at necronomapod.com as well. We have a cool little 3-pack available for you guys. And there's more, I believe, more designs coming soon to Amazon that we'll have available. So check it out.
All right, you guys ready for a cool down beer?
Cheers.